Well, hello, my friends. All right. It is so amazing to be back. Here we are. I have Dr. Deanna Palin, obesity medicine expert, specialist, has an amazing practice, New Start Medical in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. And this is episode 3 out of our 3-part series. So if you're just joining us now, you're going to want to go back and listen to part 1 and part 2. Okay. So in part 1, we talk about who should see an obesity medicine specialist, okay, and really kind of what to do. Like, how do you find one? How do you go ahead and schedule an appointment with one? Episode 2, we talk all about what to expect. Okay, so what to expect on this journey, realistic expectations for weight loss, things that come up, obstacles, all that kind of stuff. Great episode. Today we're talking about 3 scenarios. So originally we were going to talk on you hit your goal, what's next? However, we've decided that that's only one of 3 scenarios. There's actually 3 scenarios. So let's just say you've been on the weight loss journey. You've been on it a while. You've had some success. Okay, so it's an extension on what's next. It's really what's next. So tell me about those 3 scenarios that we like to talk about.
So we start with setting realistic goals from day 1, from the first visit, because you encounter 3 scenarios. Mm-hmm. One, the most frequent one, is an unrealistic goal. Okay. So what do I mean by an unrealistic goal? An unrealistic goal is to expect a result that an intervention cannot give you. So if you come to my practice and you say, I want to lose 50% of my weight by medical management, I'm going to say, that's unlikely to happen. Mm-hmm. Can you do it? Yes, but you will need medical intervention plus surgery, and you need to be committed to having additional intervention. It's about 30% of your initial weight that you can get with medical management. And when I say medical management, all 4 pillars.
Yeah.
I've seen more than 30%, and you definitely, once you lose more than 30%, you will absolutely need the medication to help you offset that metabolic adaptation. But it's about 30%, which is a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
And was proven to be, sufficient is 5 to 10% maintained. That is sufficient to improve your health. So if you're doing it for health, you don't have to lose more than 10%. Now, nobody wants to lose 10% when they come to see me.
No, because let's say somebody is 300 pounds.
Right.
And you say, okay, we're going to lose 10%.
Right.
They're not going to be happy at 270.
No, and with good reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you do want to lose 100 pounds, that is 30%.
Yeah.
So you can actually do that with all 4 pillars of obesity medicine. But if you want to lose 150, you probably should consider surgery as well.
Okay.
But surgery needs to be considered not at the beginning of the journey.
Yes.
But it's like a stepwise approach.
Yes.
Start with the nutrition.
Yeah.
You do the behavior, the exercise, the medication, then surgery, if you have that much to lose.
Yeah.
Now, the majority of my patients don't have that much to lose.
Right.
It's very rare that a patient of mine ends up to have bariatric surgery. Not that typically they see me after they had the surgery. So the surgeons refer them to me. Right?
Yes.
So that's, a very common situation in which the goal is unrealistic and they're now willing to consider surgery.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we get as much weight as we can, and then we have the same conversation, and then they finally have a consultation, and they either have the surgery or they change their goals.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, and the other thing too, which I think is really interesting, when you said like sometimes you can even squeak it a bit more with the emotional eating management.
Yes, definitely. So when we see, the plateaus.
Yeah.
There's really, and the nutrition is optimal. Mm-hmm. There's typically emotional, and when I say, emotional hunger or emotional, discomfort, but that can be, treated with alcohol.
Yeah.
That can be treated with healthy snacks, but still too many calories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you manage that, and then now all of a sudden you can get somebody to go. Now, the perfect The patient that is in the perfect situation, in my opinion, is the one that they don't really believe. They put a goal there and it's realistic and they don't even believe they're going to achieve it.
Yes.
Right? So they put like 10, 20%
Yeah.
and they're like, in their mind, it's like, this is unrealistic. I'm never going to get there.
Yeah.
They get there
Yeah.
and they're like super thrilled. And then I say, okay, well, what do you want to do next?
Yeah. What's next?
Right. And then again, two categories. One is like, I'm happy, let's do maintenance. And then the other category is like, I want more.
Yes.
I want more. I want more. I want another 5 pounds,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And they never arrive. And they're always frustrated, even though they've put on such hard work. Metabolically, they're like day and night improvement in their health,
Yeah.
right? But they can enjoy and celebrate their success because they never feel like they've arrived.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of counseling to say, I go back to the initial intake and I show them, do you remember this initial intake? We did it like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What was the goal here? And they're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that you're talking about this. And would you say that the scenario, between those two scenarios, which one's more common?
The unrealistic goal in which you want
More
than
more.
what medical management can give you.
Yeah. Okay. Which brings me to my point. So this has come up for me recently with some of my clients, and we had a whole discussion one day on what is my goal weight? Like, they asked me, what should my goal weight be? And they want me to answer that because they have a number in their mind, and it's not a helpful number. It's probably a number that, I don't know, makes no sense. Okay? And so what happens is it can go, there's two scenarios. Okay? First scenario is that it's just not realistic unless they clip off some bones and clip off some organs. It's just not happening, right? It's not their body type. It's not happening. Okay? That's one scenario. The other scenario is when they're so fixated on this goal weight that actually they hold themselves back from actually reaching an even lower weight that their body is capable of achieving. I've seen that scenario as well. That one's less common.
Interesting.
Less common.
Yeah.
But I've had individuals who almost held themselves back because they set a goal weight, but actually that goal weight was actually higher than they actually naturally were supposed to be.
Say that again.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It blows my mind every time.
Yeah.
So I have people that say, my goal weight's 160. Okay. And they're like, my goal weight's 160 because somehow they created that number.
Right.
Okay. So then they finally come and see you and they're on 4-pillar obesity medicine. They've never done it like this before.
Yeah.
And they get to 160 and they're like, well, I guess I'm at my goal. Okay. But here's the deal. If they were fixated on that being their goal weight and they were like, okay, yeah, I'm good. What if we didn't have a number and literally your body stops when it's done?
That's the best scenario,
right?
And that's exactly what I counsel my patients on.
Yes,
because in that instance they say, okay, I reached my goal, and then their body keeps going.
Yeah,
their body keeps going. It's the same thing on the other end. It's like your body will tell you.
Yes,
your body will tell you. So I'm also curious when they come up with a number. Where's this number coming from?
Exactly.
When was the last time you were at this number?
Exactly.
And if it was before you got married and before you got kids, let me tell you, that's an unrealistic goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I don't say that. It's like by asking these questions, they arrive at the conclusion, it was high school when I was at this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we are all now, 21?
We're 21,
and with like 2-3 kids. Different metabolisms, right? So it's like, of course we can get the weight in high school, you know.
Well,
I'm just...
No, I love that, but you made me think of something. Because I have seen this, but have you seen where somebody gets lower than they expected because they had metabolic dysfunction for years and years and years, but they were so diligent with all of their work that they didn't do a terrible job, right? And then, and like you were even shocked. You're like, whoa, I never thought that was
okay,
gonna
but that's a unicorn.
That's a unicorn.
That's That's very rare. Like, again, just like the plateaus, I
Yeah.
can count them on my hands. How
Okay.
many times?
Fair.
They're rare.
But possible.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
like plateaus are real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unicorns, I think they're real.
I think they're real. Okay, that's really cool. That's a good way to think about it.
But it's just fun.
No, I love that. I love that way of thinking. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so what's the third scenario? Did we talk about the third scenario yet?
Yes. So the third, we haven't yet.
We have not. Okay.
So the third scenario, good question.
Okay.
So we said unrealistic.
Yep.
You don't believe you can reach it.
Yep.
And then the third was the one that you reach it and you keep pushing.
Yes.
And you feel like you never run. So we did talk about that too.
Yep.
Yeah, but those are the three.
Yeah. And the most common one is going to be the one where it's unrealistic and they keep pushing to go lower.
Yeah, and you can look from it from the mathematical perspective. Look at the percentage. And if you know that, look, with all four pillars, the expected percentage, it would be 30%. Okay, I've seen 35, but that would be a guy.
Yeah.
It's not a woman.
Yeah.
It's typically a guy that has a really robust metabolism.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've seen 35 and 40. I've seen that. But you have to be willing to put all four pillars in place and probably a couple of medications.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that can be done, but I haven't seen 50% on medical management.
Okay.
And there's a lot of data and a lot of studies on that, and it just tells you by category. You add this is the percentage. You add this is the percentage. So then I think it's a more useful way to look at that from that perspective.
Yeah.
So 10% you can do on your own, no medication. You can maintain it without medication.
Okay.
30% you're gonna have a lot of metabolic adaptation. You're gonna need a med.
Yeah. That makes
Right?
sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like that's how you kind of set the expectation for what you're willing to do.
Yeah. And metabolic adaptation, just to kind of go back, because I made this statement a little bit earlier, I said, with the medication, you have more wiggle room for eating more calories, we said. But like, let's say you're not on a medication, right? And you lose 10% of your body weight, okay? And then there becomes metabolic adaptation. I think without the medication, from my clients I work with, and again, even from my own personal journey, like, you know, when I was 22 and lost the weight, like, I got to a point where, like, on my own, I have to think now because it's been a long time, but I lost 50 pounds. Okay, so what is that? So yeah, I need my calculator. I don't know. What is that? Let me think.
50 out of
I think we'll call it like 185.
50 out of 185. So that's 25.
Yeah. And maintain it. But again, I was much younger. Like, my journey started so young.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, you
It's different.
It's different. But I think at that point, to maintain, I had to eat the same as what I had to do to lose because, you know, I just had my own self I'm relying on.
And that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just increase the calories.
Right.
But what happens with medication?
Yes.
You can maintain those calories and not feel hungry, not feel deprived.
Yes.
So when I say that with medication you get a little bit of wiggle room, you get a little bit of wiggle room in the macro ratio.
Yeah.
And you're actually, that calorie restriction is sustainable because it doesn't
Yes.
feel like a
It doesn't-
calorie
yes,
restriction.
Yes.
But so you see, we're both right.
We're both right. I love it.
Just coming from different perspectives.
Yeah, I love that though. That's super, really important to think about because I love what we're talking about here. And if we could really just say it in one way, we're saying what's next. What's next is revisiting the expectations. Mm-hmm. Because what I find too is that when somebody gets to like what we would expect their goal to be, and people ask me this all the time, so this is how I approach it now. Because people want a number from me. They want me to tell them a number. Yep. So I say, okay, I want to see your body fat mass in pounds below your skeletal muscle mass. Yeah. It has nothing to do with your BMI. Yeah. Okay, when I see that happen, now again, you have to have a professional in-body to see this or a DEXA, but I usually find that the visceral body fat is going to be excellent. Yeah. And that's why for me, that's like their first goal. So when I look at an in-body, if somebody is like putting me on the spot and they need a number, I say your first goal is to get your body fat mass below your skeletal muscle mass. And so we were on a call today, and I said that because we were chatting about it in the group, and one of my clients said, okay, but what if you're already there? So is that, like, what if you're already there? I go, great, that's the next question. How do you feel right here? And if they say to me, amazing, I'm like, great, that's your goal weight. Yeah. If they say to me, you know, listen, I'm so proud of myself, I just don't feel like I'm there yet. There's just something about the way my body moves that doesn't feel as smooth as it could be. I don't feel as comfortable in my body. I don't feel that this is my, like, final point authentic body. And that's why I really try to get people to get in touch with letting their body tell them. Because your mind will tell you, like, what the number should be, but your body actually is the one we have to listen to. And then people are like, what? Whoa, because then it forces them to actually focus on how does their body feel.
Yeah.
Okay, and so when I ask people, well, why did you pick that goal weight? It's rare that somebody will tell me, I remember exactly how I felt in my body, and I could run faster, and I was stronger, and I was, right? Like, they're telling me things about their body's movement. They're not telling me what their skinny jeans look like.
No, it was how they felt.
It's how they felt.
Yes.
And so that's my definition of goal. That's the Ali Novitsky definition of goal weight. Your
And can I say that's a very ambitious goal, by the way.
It's very ambitious.
So can we talk a little bit about the shapes of a body
yes,
composition?
let's do it.
Okay.
Yes, let's do it because I love this. Okay.
Yes. So when you get a in-body, if you haven't had one, you get your muscle, then you get,
It's your total weight.
No, it's your total weight. So there's a bar for the total weight. Then it's your muscle mass. Then it's your body fat, right? So imagine three bars, right? So what Ali's saying here, if the muscle and the body fat are at the same level, that's an I. That's already a really good situation.
It's a great situation.
It's an I shape. Everything is high. Weight and body fat and muscle mass. It's lining up. That's fantastic. Okay, now the majority of my patients have a C shape, right? So the weight and the body fat are higher than the muscle mass, which is lower, right? So that is like the majority.
Yeah.
And if I get from that to an I,
Amazing,
right? Now, if you are at an I, you can get to a D, right? That you imagine that your weight continues to go down, your body fat continues to go down, and you maintain your muscle mass. That's a D. That's like perfection as far as body composition. That protein looks delicious.
Dog's eating some protein, just FYI, in case you're not watching us on YouTube right now. Dog has a steak, a raw steak in her mouth. No, not really. Okay, I love that. So in I, amazing. We're celebrating all day long.
And it can turn into a D. Like, it's like you don't have to stop there if you're not happy with the way you feel about your body.
Yes, I love
If you're happy with the way you feel about your body, fantastic. You don't have to lose any more body fat.
But you're right. I have many, many fit clients, and D is rare.
D is very rare.
D is rare.
Yeah.
It's really rare. So I is
and
celebrating.
I see mostly in guys.
Yeah, mostly in men. Yeah,
it's very rare in women, and an I in a women, gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying your ideal body weight, right, is when you're a D. Like, right. So I'm being very ambitious, right. Yeah. But what I'll say is this. It actually does decrease the amount of weight that people actually in their minds need to lose. So let me explain that a better way. Somebody might come to me and say they need to lose 50 pounds, okay? They might just say, I need to lose 50 pounds. And I look at their in-body. And their skeletal muscle mass might be 80, and their body fat mass might be 110, okay? My goal for them is to lose 30 pounds of body fat, not their 50. So I usually find that when I do it this way, I'm able to help them set a more realistic goal. Because they're going for the double D. Like, they want the double D or like whatever's beyond the D. Yeah. But I just want to I like the I. Even if it's even, it's a great place to be. So I just think it's a great place to start. And if I were to let people really pick how much they wanted to lose, that is usually not realistic.
Right.
Because then the other thing too, we don't talk about, body types, ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph.
Exactly. And how important is that?
Oh, it's so important because what we were talking about in episode 1, we see a lot of naturally thin individuals who are they are thin appearing.
Yeah.
And can have metabolic dysfunction, being a very low BMI, but they are that C configuration where their muscle mass is really low.
Yeah.
Their body fat mass is really high. Okay, and their weight is relatively low. That's what gives them a lower BMI. But metabolically speaking, or, muscle health speaking, right? Because there's the whole thing about your muscle health. It's not optimal.
Right. And you can have a C shape and be metabolically healthy.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Especially if you're on endomorph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so endomorph is a great body type. So endomorph body types are body types that carry a little bit of additional body fat. Now, most endomorphs are meso-endo combinations. That's the most common body type. But there are a fair amount of ecto-endo body types. And people are like, well, what's that? So the difference is in ecto-endo, they have low bone density, like lower bone mass, lower muscle mass. That's all smaller, and they have additional body fat mass. That's a hard one to deal with as we age.
Yeah.
There's something we can do, strength training. Strength training and protein. But that one, people get frustrated with that. People who are ecto-endo get frustrated because they want to gain more muscle, but it's hard because having any kind of ectomorph, it's harder to put on muscle mass. And then they want to lose body fat, but their metabolic rate isn't high enough because the muscle mass is lower for them to be able to eat enough to sustain it. So it's really hard to lose that body fat.
You can feel stuck in that situation. And again, meds help there.
Yes.
Meds help there.
Yes.
Now, I would say with reaching goal, right?
Yes.
So let's say that we have arrived.
Yeah, we've arrived.
Okay, because eventually we're gonna arrive.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't believe it, we're gonna convince you.
We're gonna get there.
You're gonna get there, okay? So we have arrived. Even if you don't see that weight changing, your body composition will continue to improve if you continue the lifestyle changes. And that's why you need to do this lifelong. It's not for the scale. It's for your health and for this body composition that continues to improve despite the fact that the scale doesn't move, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So recently, this is a funny story. I was recently in the Bahamas at a conference leading workouts, and a client came up to me. And I actually knew she was going to be there, and I was a little nervous to see her because she hadn't at that point signed up for the next round yet of Transform. And I was like, oh, she must not have liked it. She probably didn't get what she was looking for. You go through the whole thing. You always go through that, right? Because you care about your clients and you want them to have a good experience. Yeah. So she comes up to me, and I didn't recognize her. Yeah. And I was like, what? So essentially, she lost 10 pounds on her scale, her traditional scale, but lost 20 pounds of body fat on her in-body. And she goes, I just want to tell you that you absolutely changed my life in so many ways. Yeah. So many ways. And I just wanted you to know that I've been really busy, and I hadn't signed up yet, and I'm going to sign up again. And so in my mind, I'm jumping to these conclusions, right? And in reality, she had a huge transformation. And so I'm saying that because, a traditional scale is useless.
Just like BMI.
Yeah, useless.
They're both useless, yeah. And can I just say, I am a lifer for Transform.
I love you.
I have done 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
You've just done all of them, yeah.
I've done all of them. Okay, I'm a lifer. And if it wasn't for Palin Novitsky, I wouldn't be practicing medicine today. So her programs are for women physicians and help women physicians stay in practice as practitioners. And we need to stay in practice. That's,
yes. Yes, you do.
And, and
yes,
I'm in practice because of Palin Novitsky and her program. So I'm a lifer.
Thank you so much for saying that. And honestly, thank you for saying that. And you give so much to me. And you're the reason why I want to keep creating these programs, right? Because what I do helps you to want to keep doing what you're doing. And we need you to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but my programs are better because of the influence you had on me.
Oh,
So 100%. So
Thank you.
kudos. I thank you.
Thank you. So sign up for Transform if you haven't already. But my dog is going to sign up for Transform. She's eating her second raw steak right now. I wish you could see it. But I just want to thank you for being here for these episodes. It's been so nice to have you on. The perspective you bring is beautiful because you've been in my world so long and you see kind of what I do. But then you're able to talk to all our listeners about what it's really like to really be in the trenches of being a full-time, in-practice obesity medicine doctor who practices all 4 pillars. I mean, you do it all within your practice. And so we're going to go ahead and link all your information. And again, I just think you're such an amazing mentor to future obesity medicine doctors that want to be starting their practices and creating something like what you've created. You've been in the game. You're one of the longest ones in the game. You have built your program from scratch. And I mean, we didn't even get into this part, but you just added an adolescent program. Yeah. So that's the other thing. If you're in the Philadelphia area, again, New Start Medical now has an adolescent program, complete gold, okay? They too will have, access to exercise and the nutrition and the mindset. I mean, this is like a gift. So again, just really proud to have you on. Thank you for everything you shared, and
thank you.
Let's keep doing this.
I love it.
I love it.
Thank you.
All right, my friends, until next time, remember we have some great things happening. Nutrition training program is enrolling 48 CME credits. Amazing program. So if you are looking to be trained in nutrition for metabolic health, optimal weight loss, this is an amazing program. I think you'll love it. We also are taking deposits for Transform. We enroll twice a year. Our next enrollment is happening now. We have an early bird discount until April 1st. So you actually get $1,000 off if you put your deposit in by April 1st, and then you will start fresh on May 5th. We have our program now Transform as a year-long program, and it literally includes everything from nutrition management to your exercise management to your community to your menopause management. I mean, we have it all right inside Transform, so definitely check it out. We will also go ahead and link that in the show notes. So until next time, my friends, we'll talk to you soon.